You addressed three issues today, but there are a lot of people in the population probably disappointed because they were hoping that you would have addressed a fourth issue and more in depth, and that is the issue of bullying. I know you sent out a statement yesterday, but there's a lot of speculation and unanswered questions. And persons really want you to get to the source of it, seeing that you were involved in the situation 33 years ago. I surely weren't there, a lot of us weren't there. But we want you to get to the issue of what happened there, because a lot of persons are accusing you of being a bully. And you sent out the issue about bullying, and then a lot of persons say, no, you sent out a statement, but you did not apologize for the situation. So do you think your statement was sufficient? And can you give us a bit more details about that situation?
So thank you very much for that question. It's interesting how you framed your question. I came here to address matters that were decided by cabinet, matters that were addressed by the cabinet. What you've raised with me is a personal matter. People are always going to have different opinions. Yesterday, I put out, I think, a very clear statement. There are always people who are going to interpret things very differently. As I said in my statement yesterday, that was a very traumatic incident that took place 33 years ago, which is quite a while ago. When I was a teenager, the other individual who was involved was also a teenager at the time. As I said in my statement yesterday, I am not going to do anything that would affect at this stage, because I don't think it is a conversation you get into details about he say, this one say, different people having recollections, etc. I don't think there's any benefit to that. If the issue coming out of it that I accept is one of bullying, then I have absolutely no problem standing here today and saying that as a Prime Minister and as an individual at my stage of life, 50 years old, I am sorry for any child who had to endure bullying, which, as we now know, is an issue. With respect to that specific issue, I've already addressed it, and I am not going to do anything to affect persons' recollection of the incident or to water down, for want of a better word, their feelings, how they feel, because it was a traumatic incident. Not only for Mr. Khan, but for me and for many other people as we're seeing coming out of it. What I gave is a commitment that I will use this office to address the issue of bullying. And I reinforce that commitment today. I also understand that incidents that people would go through as children growing up in society, anywhere in the world, would then later on influence their decisions in life, would later on influence how their experiences in life are, including me. The defining moments in your life. So that is my position with respect to it. It was a very, very unfortunate, a very traumatic incident. But at this stage, I am not going to go back 33 years ago to deal with that. I can deal with the present. I can't change the past. I don't know if anyone can change the past. It is a serious issue, and I intend to take it up. In fact, I raised it yesterday with the religious heads when we gathered to speak about education. It is something we need to do. And today, 33 years later, the issue of cyberbullying is an issue that I intend to take up. And that is where I'd like the population to focus on as well. Because the issue of cyberbullying is very real. Me now as an adult, me as a person who's come into public life, like many others, I'm subject to cyberbullying. I'm subject to a lot of bullying by some on the other side. There's a particular phrase that they like to use that is not a complimentary phrase. In fact, it's a race whistle, some will say. But this is the society we live in. And I can tell you, I am one. If I have to take responsibility for anything, including mistakes, I will be the first person to take responsibility. I have no intention of shirking from that. So I stand here without fear. And I am apologizing to every single child who has had to endure bullying. And how do we address it now, and how do we move forward as a society, in particular in our education system? That's where my focus is going to be. Okay?
One, are you apologizing specifically to Imran Khan? And if not, do you think that will affect you at the polls?
I am not sure what will or will not affect me at the polls. What I have done is I've presented myself to the population. I have addressed the Imran Khan issue very frontally and very carefully yesterday. I have added an addendum to that today. I understand what your position is and what it is that you're trying to push towards. I have apologized to everyone who has been bullied, every child who has been bullied. And that is as far as I will go at this stage. Thank you.